Picture this. You've spent hours developing a speech, crafting it, putting all your great content and ideas and practicing it over and over, and you deliver it flawlessly to your audience. And then a week later, a reporter asks the audience, how much did you remember of that speech? And it turns out they remembered only 10% of the speech that you slaved over working, delivering. 10%, that's it. But here at Toastmasters, we have much higher expectations for what people will remember about our speech. That's why we're here practicing, honing our speech craft of content, organization, and delivery. Today, I want to share with you one of the important aspects to making a memorable speech, and that is speech organization. I'm going to talk to you about different ideas on how you can big picture organize your speech. And then once you find that category of how you're going to present it, then the basic structure of any speech. So we're going to do that on the front and on the back. So if you take a look at your handout, we're going to start first with the speech organization side. These are different ways you can, or different types of speeches you can have to deliver your speech in an effective way. First, you can do chronological speaking. That is usually with the icebreaker. You're talking about different events in your life. So you go through chronologically these events. You could give a topical speech like I'm giving on speech organization. Then you may have main ideas, 3 points to your topic. Spatial speech. This could talk about a certain geographic location. We're going to talk about the country of Germany, or we're going to talk about this desert area. Cause and effect. You could talk about a drought that we're having here in Colorado, hopefully less and less. And then you could talk about the effects of the drought. You could compare and contrast two different ideas that you have, like maybe one spicy food to another spicy food. Compare and contrast them. You could do a problem and solution. This is a common one, especially for sales. You state the problem. You might do that in 1/4 of the speech. You might do that in half the speech. And then you give the solution for the rest of the speech, because you want to dig them deep into the problem. And then you have the solution to give them for the second part. So that's a common way to engage people in the speech. You could talk about something generally, or something specific, and then talk about general concept about this, and then end with it a specific reference. So whichever of these you choose, and there's probably more, this is a good starting point for kind of getting a big picture of how your speech is going to flow. Then once you choose that, you can turn it over to the other side, and you're going to create your speech. For any of those types of speeches, you want an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. So for the introduction, it is great to have some spicy information or hook that you want to grab people with. Maybe it's a story like I told, or a question, a rhetorical question, or a question to get people to raise their hand. That engages the audience. A statistic, you can do a shocking fact that will just wake people up and they're paying attention. Then you introduce the topic. You want people to know where this speech is going, and you preview some of the main points. Like I previewed, we're going to talk about 2 points, types of speeches, and then how to create the structure for that. When you get to your body, you're going to share more of those main details. It might be 3 points. It might be just more supporting stories and information. Then you transition to the conclusion. The conclusion, we want to summarize our key points again, because people need to hear things repetitively. You hear, even with advertising, people need to see something 10 times or 100 times before they get it. So repeat your points so it sinks in. You want to connect your ending to the beginning. This is also a great way. So then people are, oh, you connected it to what you said at the beginning. That's great. Also, when we have information that is given in a speech, every speech has information, you want to then give people a call to action so they do something with that information. So in conclusion, in order to create a memorable speech, speech organization is important. So we've gone over some different types of speeches you can choose on how to organize the big picture of your speech, as well as how to craft each individual speech on the back of this with the introduction, body, and conclusion, some suggestions there. We want our audience to remember far more than 10% of our information. So they actually do something with what we've worked hard at presenting. So I want to challenge you, the next time you're crafting a speech, take a look at some of these structures here on how you can organize it and how you can go into detail of adding those rich details that will grab people in, that will give them a call to action. That's how people are going to be impacted with your speech. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.